morning. My name is John Meyer. I'm the attorney for the defendants. And sir, what is your position?
I'm sheriff.
And in your capacity as sheriff, did you issue an order directed to Mr. Friedman and Mr. Bernard and to Ms. Sandecki?
Yes.
And what was the substance of that order?
I don't have verbatim, but basically it was to prevent them from coming into the court without my knowing about
Could you please identify this order? So that's not the order that you issued.
it. Appears to be,
And that order is addressed to Ian Bernard. And Mr. Bernard is representing me.
yes,
And was that same order also addressed to other individuals?
yes.
How many other individuals?
I think there were 4 others.
And who drafted that order?
This is basically an order that the county uses for other county buildings. So it came from the county administration.
From the county administration? Have you ever used that order with respect to the Superior Courthouse before?
No, I have not.
And who made the decision to issue this order?
I didn't.
And who did you consult in making that decision, if anybody?
Nobody.
You made it on your own without consultation?
Yes.
Now, you said that that order was issued to a total of 5 individuals, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
And who determined which individuals were going to be served with that order?
There are people that showed up and were harassing the court staff as they were leaving.
Now, who made the decision which individuals were going to be served with that order?
That's why, we watched the people that
No,
were
but
doing
who
it.
made that decision? The question was, who made the decision?
I did.
And on what basis did you make that decision?
I made that decision because it appeared to me as watching on the videos and some experience with the activity of the same individuals prior to this, where they were harassing the people that were leaving the court. After a particular court case that was heard, they were harassing the Superior Court staff and they were harassing the judge. On 2 occasions, I had to send deputies out to intervene between Mr. Bernard and the other 4 so that people could get in their cars and do so in safety. And also with the judge, when he came out the back door to get in his car, it was the same way. And that happened twice, and then they kept coming back. And after, to prevent them from coming back and still terrorizing the people, I made the order. I asked them to leave the property when they were out there doing it, and then walked them off the property with the other bailiffs, with the other deputies, and then the order came out. When they came back the next day, the orders were issued.
Sir, are you familiar with the criminal harassment statute?
Vaguely, yes.
Vaguely.
Well, right off the top of my head, yeah.
You're aware that there is a criminal statute that individuals can be subject to engaging in criminal harassment?
Yes.
Were any of the individuals charged in this case, any of the individuals subject to this order charged with criminal harassment?
No, they weren't.
Has there been any finding that any of the individuals subject to this order have engaged in any criminal acts?
They didn't come, oh, yes.
Has there been a finding?
No.
I'm voting again. Could you ask the question again?
I'm sorry, was there any determination made by your office?
Okay, by my office?
Please let me finish the question. Is there any determination made by yourself that makes it more specific? Did any of the individuals subject to this order have engaged in any criminal activity?
I'm not sure why we're here. I mean, somebody's been charged with it,
No.
violating this order.
They have been charged with violating the order. I'm asking about prior to the issuance of the order. Was any determination made that any of these individuals engage in criminal activity
You mean at the site or at any?
at the site, or in or around the courthouse?
I don't know whether, right off the top of my head, I don't remember who they were, but we've arrested people for conduct within the courthouse for violating the judge's orders, and so that has happened, whether or not, I don't remember off the top of my head whether it specifically was one of these, but I know that that group of people have been involved with that.
You said that group?
The people that group of five that were here, I don't know how other to describe it.
Well, let's be more specific. In terms of Mr. Freeman,
Okay.
what did he do to justify your issuing order gaining him from the courthouse? And not in the courthouse, but any property related to the courthouse?
Showing up in my opinion, he was harassing or interfering with the court staff that was leaving. When they left after work, after there was a court case where there was a finding, they kept coming back to that, and then they, for at least a third day, I don't remember exactly, he kept coming back, and my focus was to remove him from that area so the court staff and others could go home without being confronted by it.
And that area is the parking lot. Is that what you're referring to?
That's where it took place, yes.
And is it your opinion that the court personnel had the right to utilize the parking lot without coming into any contact with my client?
Not any contact. I think they had a right to go to their cars without being confronted by them and things being said to them.
So my client did not have the right to say things to members of the court staff in the court parking lot?
He did have the right to say things to them. He was interfering with and putting them in fear of what could happen.
How was he putting them in fear?
He's been in their face, up close to them, close proximity to them when they were getting into their cars.
And how do you define close proximity?
Close, right up close body.
6 inches?
I didn't look at, but that could be that or less.
So you objected to the fact that he was allegedly within 6 inches of court personnel?
I objected to that being part of the conduct that was happening.
Was he ever requested to stand further away from court
I
personnel?
don't know whether they did or not.
Don't know that. Now, you said that videos were taken.
Yes,
Do you have possession of those videos?
I don't have possession.
Who has possession of those
We
videos?
probably don't, I'm not sure, because they rewrite themselves after like 4 or 5 days, because there's 40 some odd cameras that feed that recording. So,
And these are videos of the Superior Court parking lot?
yes,
And did the alleged offending conduct engaged in by Mr. Friedman, was you said captured by this video?
yes.
And yet you did not preserve the video, but had it erased?
It erases itself.
Could you did not have the authority to have it preserved?
I do.
Why did you not have it preserved?
I don't remember what the reason why that was not. It may have been. I did not order that to happen, but the other people that were involved in this who served the papers may have done that.
All right, it depends on what?
May have preserved the tapes.
So you don't know whether it's been erased or not?
That's correct.
Now, in addition to your claim that Mr. Friedman stood too close to court personnel in the parking lot, what else did he do that you believe was improper?
He had a camera in their face.
Was it illegal for Mr. Friedman to videotape court personnel in the Superior Court parking lot?
No.
So that was something that he had a constitutional right to do?
He could videotape their yes.
So, I'm not asking you what he was constitutionally entitled to. I'm asking you, what did he do that he was not constitutionally entitled to in that parking lot?
He came, the other people would be the ones that, the witnesses that had to confront him when he came out of there, would be better suited to tell that. But he was in their face with their cameras, and I think that people that have a right to, whether or not somebody's taking a picture of them, is how close and what their purpose is for the picture, whether they're up close or interfering with them, and taking pictures, and I don't know what was said, but they could better testify to that.
Well, so did you interview court personnel before issuing this, this order?
I did not.
You did not. Did you take statements from any member?
I didn't do the investigation.
Who did the investigation?
Any one of the other deputies.
Do you know who?
There were several of them involved.
Was a written report issued?
Are we talking about before the defendants were charged?
Yes.
Talking about before the defendants were charged.
I'm not, but there may have been.
But if it was written, prepared, you never read it?
That's correct.
Now, you said that Mr. Friedman had a right to videotape court personnel in the parking lot, but he couldn't get the camera too close. Am I correctly understanding your testimony?
He could not get in the camera and get in there, face with the camera so close as to bother them or get in their way when they're doing, getting into their cars. And
Would it have been permissible for him to film them 10 feet away?
I suppose so.
What else did Mr. Freeman do that you believe justifies the issuing of this order banning him from courthouse and courthouse property?
It was a continuing,
What else did
I'm
he
going
do?
to answer that, that's the question, I'm telling you what it is. It's a continuing conduct, coming back and doing it again, and then coming back again, the same people coming back again, when, at the time when the Superior Court staff were leaving the office and attempting to go home.
Sir, let me apologize to you if my question was not clear. I was not asking about what other people did. I'm asking specifically about Mr. Freeman. And I'm not asking you how many times he did it. I'm trying to understand what he did that, in your view, justified this order banning him from the courthouse and courthouse property. What did he do?
In answering that,
Gonna ask and answer. What, if the record is that the only thing my client did that allegedly was improper was stand in too close physical proximity to court personnel in the parking lot, if that's the only thing he allegedly did wrong, then I'm not gonna ask if there was anything else. I just wanna make sure that the record is clear that there's not something else that the sheriff would like to testify to that I'm not giving him an opportunity to respond to.
The court understands your testimony so far, that court, what you're saying, that in your opinion, the defendants were engaged in continuous course of doing the same thing.
right.
And what I think counsel is asking, were there additional things that you haven't testified to already? For example, I'm making this up, did somebody actually physically assault somebody, did somebody throw something? Was there something additional to the proximity question and the camera issue?
The other thing, Dan, as I said.
Is that what your question is?
Yes.
The issue is that it was repeated day after day, same activity while the people day after day.
And he was asking, is the activity you described with any other
Right, I
any other
understand.
kinds of activity in addition to that?
I didn't understand his question to be that. The question was there anything else? And part of being that was the repeated day after day activity when the people were trying to leave the court.
So, Sheriff, is it your position that that conduct engaged by Mr. Freeman would have been permissible if it was done on a one-time basis, but not permissible if it's being done every day?
It's, well, doing it every day. If he'd done it and everything had been over, then he would do it again. We wouldn't have gone further than what we did. It was his repeated coming back to the court and creating the same conduct, the same atmosphere for the support staff that precipitated this.
Was Mr. Freeman, to your knowledge, ever told to stand further away from any court personnel in the parking lot?
I don't know. I may have told him the day.
Did you say, I don't know, or not?
I don't know whether he said it, whether anybody told him. One of the deputies may have, but I did not.
Sir, did Mr. Freeman ever do anything inside the courthouse which was improper and justified this banning order?
On this particular instance,
Any
other
instance.
times. Oh, absolutely.
Now, when in terms of banning him, you issued a banning order.
Right.
It was a banning order based on anything he did in the courthouse.
The banning order was given because of a course of conduct over a period of time that Mr. Freeman, Mr. Bernard had conducted what he'd done in the courthouse over a period of time, and where he certainly has been arrested in there. And that's over a period of time, and this was a continuation of that conduct, which made court staff.
What did Mr. Freeman do in the courthouse that justifies his order, that in your view justifies his order banning him from the courthouse?
It's a conduct where it's coming into the front gate, and it's just, right off the top of my head, it's just a course of conduct that he and others have conducted, how they conducted themselves in the court, in violation of the judge's orders, or doing things with a bailiff. So that was the conduct coming up to the final thing where he was harassing, I've been harassing the staff outside of the court.
Well, forget about what other people did. He's talking now about Mr. Freeman, and I'll ask you in a minute about my other client, starting this with Mr. Freeman. What did Mr. Freeman do in the courthouse that justified, in your mind, banning him from the courthouse? And I'm not talking about course of conduct, I'm talking about specific acts or specific things.
I don't remember exactly what, it's been a period of 3 years that we've been dealing with Mr. Bernard in the court, and there's always been something that was going on either with the bailiffs or the staff or whatever. So it's a period of time of 3 years that I'm aware of it, and we've been dealing with him. And this last thing being what happened at court that day, first day.
You said it's been over a course of 3 years, and you're not able to recall a single improper act or a single improper statement?
Well, the act, right off the top of my head, I cannot remember what everything that happened with him, other than we know that that's, there's been an issue with that.
Sir, do you agree, you're the chief law enforcement officer for this county, is that correct? Do you agree that Mr. Freeman had a constitutionally protected right to monitor court proceedings in Superior Courthouse?
And, Jim, I believe the question was, do you believe he had a constitutional right?
Does he agree that Mr. Freeman has a constitutionally protected right to monitor judicial proceedings in Superior Courthouse?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. The sheriff is not an attorney and is not a witness who is best able to answer a question involving constitutional law.
John, if I could respond to that, I think it's normally true that you wouldn't ask a non-lawyer questions of law, but in this particular case, what we're dealing with, the gentleman who's identified himself as the chief law enforcement officer for Chester County, and his duties, I assume, would include the protection of constitutional rights. It seems to me it is a reasonable question to ask him whether he
I
understands.
think it's a reasonable question to ask, however, I'm gonna take it, it's ultimately up to me to make that decision.
Well, that's right. I simply trying to understand, and I'm not trying to pursue it. I'm asking that question, whether he understands or agrees, whether he agrees that Mr. Freeman has a constitutionally protected right. Any New Hampshire citizen has a constitutionally protected right to monitor judicial proceedings in Superior Courthouse.
Your Honor, before he answers, the state would like, and this is just almost a minor point, but the state would argue that actually the sheriff is probably not the chief law enforcement officer of the county. That would probably be the county attorney, just as an attorney general in the state is viewed as the chief law enforcement officer of the state.
The sheriff is higher up than most people in the county.
That is
He's
correct.
not number one, he's number two.
That is correct, but again, the state would argue that his familiarity with constitutional law.
And I think the question's appropriate, but I'm just gonna the weight I accorded is gonna be, you know, based on the extent to which he thinks he can competently answer the questions. Ultimately, that's what we hear from me to decide when I hear all the evidence.
Very good, thank you, Your Honor.
After that, Stan Fusco will call the question, you want me to repeat it?
Repeat the question.
Sir, you agree that Mr. Freeman and indeed all other citizens of the state have a constitutionally protected right to monitor judicial proceedings taking place in the Chester County Superior Court?
As governed by the judge, yes.
Well, does the judge have the right to breach the Constitution?
The judge has, if I'm in charge of the security of the courthouse, and the judge has specific orders, and whatever those orders come down for any particular day or court case, those are the orders that are followed by my bailiffs and my deputies. And there are procedures that the court requires, and we assist in making sure that those procedures are just like they are here. So that's,
But is your understanding of you're aware that Mr. Freeman had a practice of monitoring judicial
I
proceedings?
assume when you're talking about Mr. Freeman, you're talking about your client.
I am.
Just for fact, is your client officially changed his name yet, or is he still?
Your Honor, it's my position based on the interest of the Supreme Court that your name is a name you choose to use.
Unless you-
And it's not necessary to,
Well, my understanding from the original arraignment is that Mr. Freeman said that he was there to pursue probate court for a name change. I didn't know if that was,
well, that's right, I think that's correct, Your Honor, at least it's my understanding, you don't need to go to probate court to change your name. You think in the common law of the state,
well, maybe I'm just